presenting Strike Against War by Helen Keller. The future of the world rests in the hands of America. The future of America rests on the backs of 80 million working men and women and their children. We are facing a grave crisis in our national life. The few who profit from the labor of the masses want to organize the workers into an army which will protect the interests of the capitalists. You are urged to add to the heavy burdens you already bear, the burden of a larger army and many additional warships. It is in your power to refuse to carry the artillery and shake off some of the burdens too. You need not make a great noise about it. With the silence and dignity of creators, you can end wars and the system of selfishness and exploitation that causes wars. All you need to do to bring about this stupendous revolution is to straighten up and fold your arms. We are not preparing to defend our country, yet everywhere we hear fear advanced as an argument for war. Congress is not preparing to defend the people of the United States. It is planning to protect the capital of American speculators and investors for their financial gain. Incidentally, this preparation will benefit the manufacturers of munitions and war machines. Until recently, there were uses in the United States for the money taken from the workers. But American labor is exploited almost until the limit now, and our national resources have all been appropriated. Still, our profits keep piling up new capital. Our flourishing industry in implements of murder is filling the vaults of New York's banks with gold. And a dollar that is not being used to make a slave of some human being is not fulfilling its purpose in the capitalistic scheme. That dollar must now be invested. It was no accident that the Navy League came into prominence at the same time that the National City Bank of New York established a branch in Buenos Aires. It is no mere coincidence that 6 business associates of J.P. Morgan are officials of defense leagues. And chance did not dictate that Mayor Mitchell should appoint to his Committee of Safety 1,000 men, which represent 1/5 of the wealth of the United States. These men want their foreign investments protected. The propagandists have still another object and a very important one. They want to give the people something to think about besides their own unhappy condition. They know the cost of living is high, wages are low, employment is uncertain and will be more so when the European call for munitions stops. No matter how hard and incessantly the people work, they cannot often afford the comforts of life. Many cannot even obtain the necessities. Every few days we are given a new war scare to lend realism to their propaganda. Will the workers walk into this trap? Will they again be fooled? I'm afraid so. The people have always been amenable to the oratory of this sort. The workers know they have no real enemies besides their masters. They know their citizenship papers are no warrant for the safety of themselves or wives and children. They know that honest sweat, persistent toil, and years of struggle give them nothing worth holding on to, worth fighting for. Yet deep down in their foolish hearts, they believe they have a country. The clever ones up in the high places know how childish and silly the workers are. They know that if the government dresses them up in khaki, hands them a rifle, sends them off with a brass band and waving banners, that they will go forth to valiantly fight for their own enemies. They are taught that brave men die for their country's honor. What a price to pay for abstraction. The lives of millions of young men, millions more crippled and blinded for life, existence made hideous for still more millions of human beings. The achievement and inheritance of generations swept away in a moment, and nobody better off for all misery. This terrible sacrifice would be comprehensible if the thing you die for and call a country fed, clothed, housed, and warmed you, educated and cherished your children. I believe that the workers are the most unselfish of the children of men. They toil and live and die for other people's country, other people's sentiments, other people's liberties, and other people's happiness. The workers have no liberties of their own. They are not free when they are compelled to work 12 or 10 or 8 hours a day. They are not free when they are ill paid for their exhausting toil. They are not free when their children must labor in mines, mills, and factories, or starve, and when their women may be driven from poverty to lives of shame. They are not free when they are clubbed and imprisoned because they go on a strike for a raise of wages and the elemental justice that is their right as human beings. We are not free unless the men who frame and execute the laws represent the interests of the lives of the people and no other interest. The ballot does not make a free man out of a wage slave. There has never existed a truly free and democratic nation in the world. From the time immemorial men have followed with blind loyalty, the strong men who held the power of money and of armies. Even while battlefields were piled high with their own dead, they have tilled the lands of the rulers and have been robbed of the fruits of their labor. They have built palaces, pyramids, temples, and cathedrals that have held no real shrine of liberty. As civilization has grown more complex, the workers have become more and more enslaved until they are little more than parts of the machines they operate. Daily, they face the dangers of railroad, bridge, skyscraper, freight train, stockhold, stockyard, lumber, raft, and mine. Panting and straining at the docks, on the railroads, on the underground, across the seas. They move the traffic and pass from land to land the precious commodities that make it possible for us to live. And what is their reward? A scanty wage, often poverty, rents, taxes, tributes, and war amenities. The kind of preparedness that the workers want is the reorganization and reconstruction of their whole life, such has never been attempted by a statesman or governments. It is your business to force these reforms on the administration. Let there be no more talk about what a government can and cannot do. All of these things have all been done by the belligerent nations in the hurly-burly of war. Every fundamental industry has been managed better by the government than by these private corporations. It is your duty to insist upon still more radical measures. It is your business to see that no child is employed in an industrial establishment or mine or store, and that no worker is needlessly exposed to accident or disease. It is your business to make them give you clean cities free from smoke, dirt, and congestion. It is your business to make them pay you a living wage. It is your business to see that this kind of preparedness is carried into every department of our nation until everyone has the chance to be well-born, well-nourished, rightly educated, intelligent, and serviceable to the country at all times. Strike against all ordinances and laws and institutions that continue the slaughter of peace and the butcheries of war. Strike against war, for without you, no battles can be fought. Strike against the manufacturing of shrapnel and gas bombs and all other tools of murder. Strike against the kind of preparedness that means death and misery to millions of human beings. Be not dumb, obedient slaves in an army of destruction, but be heroes in an army of construction. Thank you.